why not we use some of that budget to host the 26th Commonwealth Games and prepare a great team here? So why not we give that benefit back to Malaysia, and maybe, like Nicole said, we can create new champions, not just the ones that we have. Okay, so like the planning for the 26th Commonwealth Games, uh, of course we can look at additional sports that we are good at, especially, uh, don't don't quote me as it is going to happen, but I'm giving an example that, like, for example, Sepak Takraw, we can include that as the games for that. We can prepare for Commonwealth Games 26 to be a new games, where I think has a better chance for Malaysia to have a medal. And those are the things that we can do as a host to introduce games that I think Malaysia in all this while wants to Commonwealth to see and appreciate. But now we, as being a host, then we can introduce that. And these programs, of course, have been ongoing, whether we have Commonwealth or not. We've already been doing development for our sports. But if you see, right, we don't have a major games like Commonwealth Games, then we don't push ourselves to develop the sports further. We don't push our athletes to create new uh, athletes that can represent us from Commonwealth Games. And if we already can perform well in Commonwealth Games, of course, there's almost guarantee that SEA Games we also will do very well. Of course, 2017, we see that we've done very well, but after that, you can see there's a downtrend going forward. But for what also I want to share that is that this knowledge of hosting such a big games like Commonwealth Games should be continued, like from 98 to the next generation and the continuous generation. It goes from the whole ecosystem, from hosting, from also the sports federations. Everyone will come together, and even schools, government ministries. This thing only comes once in this case, 25 years or 30 years, So, but if we don't do this, then we lose that capability, that knowledge. But I think every once in a while, it's good to have a big games event, so we have this additional push, so that all the sports and country will come together. It's nothing like having the games in your own country, right? Because then everyone's watching all the games and will expect most of the sport events to perform. And of course, the budget, we want to be as transparent as possible. And I'm sure with under YB Minister's leadership, I think things can be managed in terms of budget and accounting.
How do you convince the public in terms of guarantee that this holding this Commonwealth Games will guarantee return of investment for the country? How do you guarantee and how do you convince the public?
We cannot guarantee return on investment because there's a lot of these parts of the economy that once people come in, spend tourism, there's a lot of spillover effect. What we can guarantee is that we work on a balanced budget, right? If there is a certain budget allocated for the games, we work within the budget. More than that, we don't spend. That should be the approach, right, going forward. What that we can guarantee. But the spillover, like you compare Taylor Swift, right? Government of Singapore spent how many 10 million Sing to bring Taylor Swift exclusive, and they can get 2 billion in return. How do you calculate that 2 billion? That's also including hotels, families coming in, spillover effect. So calculating that is very difficult to calculate the ROI. But of course, if you don't do an event as big as the games or as such, then you don't have movement in the economy. People won't spend. There's no reason for the economy to roll over and have GLC sponsoring the games, so that there's a united effort to make something success. Yeah.
Katakan satu sebutan apa sukan berapa agaknya beza kos satu membina suatu pasukan baru dan kos untuk jaga hotel.
Oh, saya tak ada nombor, tapi beza dia probably besar lah, sebab dalam jangka masa pun kalau nak bina village perlu 3 ke 4 tahun. Dan juga kalau dah bina village tu pun kena ada penggunaan seterusnya, nak kena jual balik village tu ke, dan kena ada ambil alih daripada grup sebagainya. Tapi hotel pun waktu Sukan C diberikan harga yang istimewa sebab kerajaan blok awal, dan penggunaan hotel tu adalah penggunaan kerajaan. Jadi kalau tak silap saya, DBKL yang berurusan untuk dapatkan harga yang cukup baiklah untuk kerajaan waktu tu, dan diberikan balik kepada kerajaan sebagai pengurangan lah.
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. So,
dalam tempoh 2 tahun ni cukup ke untuk atlet kita terima yang lagi dalam tempoh dalam 2 tahun kita akan jadi host untuk Komanwel? Do you think they are really prepared for that?
I can just say on my experience from the past Commonwealth Games in '98, because I was the first. It was the first time that squash was included, and to be prepared for it was just a hype for me, and also squash got a lot of recognition from that multi-sport game. So, in terms of 2 years preparation and playing outside of the country as opposed to Malaysia, it does make a difference. Being in Malaysia, you get so much Malaysian support and backing, and that's what you want. That's where we all want to play for our country. But in 2 years' time, all the athletes that are playing in the Commonwealth Games that were preparing for Australia will have to be prepared for a Commonwealth Games. So that's part of their preparation plan. Whether or not they feel like it's added on pressure or expectations, it's always going to be pressure. It's always going to be pressure from ourselves, the country, to get the medals. It's here as well, but what can we do to use it for our advantage? Because we are in our home base, so we expect everyone to come on board to support and give Malaysians the best encouragement possible. So I think that's the two difference. I feel that playing outside is great, but also playing in Malaysia, you have the home advantage to get that support, and you feel at home. Yeah, it's really, that's my experience so far. Yeah.
Do you think in 2 years preparation, suddenly 4 tahun yang kita host
Mm-hmm.
so you rasa cukup ke untuk prepare beraksi di multi games as a sebagai athlete yang merupakan host athlete?
Yeah, I don't think there's too much of a difference. I think the athletes are already preparing for some of the Olympics, some for for me, I used to have to prepare every time Asian Games, Commonwealth Games. It's every 4 years. So we know that year it's important. I have to get ready 2 years before or a few years before to make sure that happens as an athlete. But it probably will spur us more. I think some athletes that is in Malaysia, but it all depends on where it's gonna be, and then we'll just be ready. And I think the athletes will just have to be ready for the task. That's our job. Right.
Can I just add that we're already preparing for squash to be 2028 in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Why not we use some of that budget to host the 26th Commonwealth Games and prepare a great team here? Then organize the competition here. Otherwise, we will spend the budget also otherwhere,
somewhere else.
other places like sending Europe, other countries to compete. So why not we give that benefit back to Malaysia, and maybe, like Nicole said, we can create new champions, not just the ones that we have, but once we host it, a lot more opportunity for Malaysia to, come out and become champion.
Overall,
Hmm.
sebab selain daripada squash, Tenpin Bowling pun jarang ada dalam Sukan Komanwel. Saya rasa
Betul. Dan
adakah kita akan
macam contohnya Sukan Asia Nagoya, takkan ada Sukan Tenpin Bowling. Dan atlet bowling kita nak pergi mana? Jadi kalau kita tuan rumah 26, kita boleh pastikan bowling ada. Dan at least atlet kita boleh compete 26 di Malaysia. Dan kalau tak ada di Sukan Asia, dan kita tahu sistem kita, kalau tak ada competition, dan atlet tu macam ada gap. Dia takkan ada program selagi ada competition. Jadi kita pun kesian kepada atlet yang tak ada tournament bila ialah macam Sukan Asia tak ada bowling contohnya. Kita ada buat anggaran antara 13 sampai 15 sukan. Tapi ini memang terpulang kepada kerajaan dalam segi bajet. Jadi apa yang bajet yang ada, kita akan guna seadanya lah. Jadi untuk tuan rumah memang berapa sukan tu terpulang kepada tuan rumah. Untuk perbincangan kita dengan CGF, diorang okey asalkan kita jalankan Commonwealth Games tu dalam 10 lebih sukan. Antara 13 ke 15 sukan. Okey, terima kasih.
Thank you.
Thank you.